What is good? 2 minute warning. We're back with another Fury. Moving on to the Week 10 NFL season of 2015. Yo, we are hyped. We passed the mid of the season. We in there. Yo, guys, let's do what it do. Tim, Josh, take it away.
First things first, today's Veterans Day. I
Yes,
want to
sir.
salute, 2 minute warning, Victor, Bells, and any other 2 minute warning veterans out there. Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Josh,
Yes, sir.
we're going to start with Teddy Bridgewater and the Minnesota Vikings. He got, there's been talks that it was a late hit on safety joiner from the St. Louis Rams. Teddy Bridgewater now is going through the concussion protocol. He may not play. Now, would you play him this Sunday against the Raiders, knowing that you're still tied for the division with the Packers at 6-2?
At this point, he's a young player, and being how high of a draft pick Teddy Bridgewater was, I don't think you risk it. I don't think you put your franchise quarterback in that position to go out and possibly take another hit. I think there are some players out there that would, in a dirty kind of way, use that as their advantage, knowing he was just concussed last week, and try to go at him a little harder than they probably usually would, possibly knock him out of the game again. So my feeling is that if you're the Vikings, you're up in the division, play it safe, let Bridgewater get some rest for a week, because let's be real, that dude was sleeping on the field. I mean, he was night Bridgewater. So they need to give that guy a rest. He's definitely got to sit it out, in my opinion. Bringing him back, it's way too early, and I don't think he'll. Let's look at one example, RG3. So there's my reason right there alone to sit him and let him get his rest, get his head right.
Well, you know what? His name is Teddy Bridgewater, and not to make fun of the brother, but he was Teddy Pendergrass. Turn off the lights and light a candle. So he definitely was, and I agree with you at that point because, all right, if he doesn't play, we got Sean Hill. He's a 14-year veteran backup. He's played in Detroit, St. Louis, and he played twice in Minnesota. He's a current backup. He has experience. We see that it's not like a Matt Castle thing where he's been out a year and a half. This guy has been playing, so I could trust him. You got Adrian Peterson. You have Briggs. You have Mike Wallace. You have Charles Johnson. You have Cal Rudolph. You got a decent defense. You're going to Oakland, which is a very tough team. And I agree with you. You never know the cheap shots he may take over there. And after Oakland, they play Green Bay, and that's their first game against the Packers. So you're right. I would just hold them back, let them rest, okay, and worry about the game against Green Bay, because right now they both tied up at 6-2, and that's the game you need to win. If you lose against Oakland and Green Bay right now is playing, who they play next week?
They got Detroit, I believe. Green Bay.
Detroit Lions. So they got a division game. Right. So
right.
Even if one wins, one lose, next week you could tie it up.
Right.
And
So we're on the same page, right? Let Bridgewater rest until they meet up.
Right.
Second.
Absolutely.
Right. That's how I feel as well.
We got now coming up. We have Wes Welker, former New England Patriot wide receiver. He signed with the Rams. Now I'm gonna tell you that I was doing a little bit of research, and Josh, and I look at it, and Todd Gurley's been a monster, but when you don't have a passing game, the team's gonna find a way to put that 8-man in the box and slow Gurley down. So eventually Nick Foles will need to pass. Now I know Stedman Bailey was suspended for 4 games for the substance abuse. But here's the thing: he's no Wes Welker. He has no resume like Wes Welker.
Right.
Wes Welker recreated, however you want to call it, the slot position in my opinion. So when say shots down the field, you have a guy like Wes Welker who can work that middle. I'm comfortable with that. I'm so comfortable with that. You have Kenny Brewer has 300 yards receiving, also with Tavon Austin, but Nick Foles only threw for 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, with the 5 picks as well, I know. And his overall rating this year is barely even touching 80.
Yeah, so my whole thing with that is I'm not liking that. So, I mean, I'm liking the move with Wes Welker. He would definitely help out Nick Foles in that middle to extend the drives.
I mean, obviously, it's a great weapon. If you're a quarterback, in my mind, having Wes Welker is nothing but a plus. Having him on your team, because all you think about was slant, 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 and yaks. Yak is huge in the NFL. That's all we're. That's actually a stat that's actually becoming imploding in the NFL now. They were just talking about that with the running backs recently on the radio. People are and coaches and everybody is starting to look at yards after catch or carry. So, or after contact, I'm sorry. So that's huge for, getting Wilker. But at the same time, the ethics, part of me, the moral side, I guess you could call it, like, how do you sign a guy that has basically been through the grinder pretty much with his head? I mean, his head is pretty much jello at this point. You can tell by watching interviews when he was with the Patriots compared to now that he's an overall different person. I think I read or heard something about the doctors pretty much, or doctors in general, stating that he really can't do any more damage, I guess, to his head. I'm not sure how much validity that statement actually has, because to me, I'm thinking, well, there's a lot more damage you can do. I mean, it's not like he's totally brain dead right now. So
Right.
obviously, there's more levels you can go to damage your brain than the point and stance that he's at right now. So that kind of worries me to an extent. Just the history that he has, and the Rams are a very aggressive team on defense. So
Right.
you look at how they play on defense. Teams are going to want to carry that on the other side of the ball against their offense. So now you see Wes Welker is almost on this. It's almost like another Bounty Gate-ish type team, almost like it's becoming that type of way with how Zimmer brought it up last week, and he wanted to throw down in the middle of the field.
Right.
At the yard line, he didn't want to shake hands. That was one of the quickest handshakes I've ever seen. But other than that, I mean, it's a great addition, obviously. Nick Foles needs help out there, other than Gurley, who's been beasting. But I really don't know how I feel about Welker still playing. I feel like another good hitter too, and it's even life after football, man.
No, I definitely hear you. But you know what? The difference between playing now with the Rams and with the Patriots is that at least with the Rams, okay, he's playing week 10. So right now you only playing maybe 7. I don't think they had the bye week yet. Did they have a bye week? I think they had a bye week already. So they're playing 7 more weeks of football and maybe the playoffs. So it's not. And on top of that, he won't be the focal guy like he was in New England before Elderman came out to the scene. So what they need to do is take it slowly with him, but he would definitely help with extending drives and help with that running game. That if you keep it that much balanced. Let's go to Andrew Luck. Had a great game against the Denver Broncos at home.
Yeah, he was
very huge. Very huge. But you go the next couple of days, he's out 2 to 6 weeks. I mean, now is a problem with the Colts. I mean, I thought the Colts pretty much saved the season, but now you're going maybe 2 to 6 weeks without Andrew Luck. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, they're lucky they got a bye this week. Week 10 is their bye week. So the 22nd, they're going to Atlanta. That's going to be a huge game, especially with Hasselbeck coming out. He's going to be in a fiery crowd in Atlanta. That's going to be huge on his shoulders. And we're talking about a 40-year-old quarterback. This isn't someone you can rely on as a long-term backup quarterback like you could a Kyle Lorton or somebody like that. So it's good. We already know he's won his 2 games so far, and he's actually looked pretty well doing it. But how long can that hold up, and how long can he keep having success without defenses picking up on his style of play,
Right.
and how he's maneuvering in the pocket. So after Atlanta, they got a resilient Tampa Bay team. Granted, the record isn't reflective of how they've been playing lately, but I believe Tampa is one of those teams that's actually going to construe it at the end of the season or get it together a little bit at the end of the season, and you'll see they have like a maybe 2-3 game. We'll talk about that later and pick them though, kind of stretch. But you're right. I mean, their schedule, it doesn't get any easier, and then they got the division games that are huge, especially when they're sitting at 4-5 right now. And that's usually where Andrew Luck is money, is because the past 2 seasons, I think he's practically undefeated when he's facing an AFC South opponent. So that's huge.
Right.
It's really going to be a ton of weight on Hasselbeck's shoulders, pretty much. And I know he's going to feel it on game day, because he's leading right now a 4-5 team that's actually a division leader, and that's big. So they got Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and I'm trying to see what the rest of their schedule looks like over here. But it's definitely not going to be easy. So
Hey, listen, I want to add on to the fact that people talk about the NFC East. You know, you were just mentioning about the division. You got
right.
You just mentioned the Colts at 4-5. You said that the Texans are 3-5. Jacksonville is 2-6, and the Titans are 2-6. Now, when you see Andrew Luck not playing 2 to 6 weeks, but you're seeing teams like the Titans had a very big win against the Saints, and I guess that's the new thing. You fire the head coach, the next game the team wins,
Right.
and look, the team looked completely different from what we saw in the first couple of weeks with the Titans. You let the boy Andrew run hard. Dorian Green-Beckham, he finally got a lot of playing time. So you see a different philosophy going on with the Tennessee Titans. Now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've been balling every week. Some 3 games they won. The rest of them they were close. But you know what? To me, they're the favorites behind if Luck is out for 6 weeks. All right, you got the Houston Texans. They stick with Bobby Hoyer as their quarterback. All right, the defense has been playing good, but now when you know Andrew Luck won't be there, that team has pieces that may come together. So you know what? Our season's not over. We can win this.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
that division is kind of tight right now, just like the NFC East right now. So listen,
We got to wrap this up, guys.
Sean, we got to go to the second quarter because we got the Giants and Patriots feud coming up, so we can move it on.
All right. Catch us the next time, folks.
Yes, sir.